Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another round of Formula Aero. Here we are in Zandvoort for race 7 of the season. We have a few more drivers than we did out last week, which is good to see. Quite small numbers out last week, but we're slightly better this week, up to 15, and that's also with a inclusion of a few more of our championship contenders as Leopold returns to the grid. Ricky still not in yet, although said he was available to race, so we will have to see how it all plays out here, at least for qualifying for the moment, and then we'll hear from Ricky, quiet boy, taking us away here down this absolute roller coaster of a track that I'm absolutely gutted I didn't get to experience in the dry. Hopefully there's a good race in the dry here in Tier 1, which may put it up for grabs to be on the calendar for Season 3. So, quiet boy, after a very, very good race, so close. He was an incident away, an incident going his way from his first win of the season, a win we haven't seen since the final round of Season 1. But he's moving up the grid every single race, and he's currently level on points with Ricky, who's been overtaken by Hyper in the championship last race after Hyper's P4 finish. We're going to ride on board with the man from Northern Ireland as he opens DRS now and is going to head to the line. Lots of clean track ahead of him if he gets out ahead of that Mercedes, which he should, through the speed trap, breaking down into turn 1, kind of clips that curb on the right hand side before pretty much completely flat out slight lift there through turn 4 and then into 5, or into turn 3, turn 2 and 3, now up towards 4, 5 and 6. Long flat out section, nearly completely flat out through 7 as well, trying to get as much of the track used as possible, try and get as much curve as possible on this without beaching at that turn 8 section is very, very hard. Heading now in towards turn 10 to our second DRS zone of the race as he goes down the gears down towards the probably trickiest braking zone on the calendar, or not on the calendar, on this track, turn 11, 12, down towards turn 13, which Shamrock said he was struggling with in his practice. DRS now open. It's opened a little bit earlier than it used to be as he gets onto the grass. That's quite scrappy from Quiet Boy. He's going to cross the line with a 109.5. Very good lap, but definitely a lot of improvement can be made from it as well. Rafa about to start his lap. And I think that is Leopold coming to the end of his lap. He has a Red Bull behind him of, I think that is Bluefoot. It could be Shamrock as well. Both of them out on track. Leopold is going to go to the top of the standings with a 109.2. After that it's Shamrock, a 109.7. It's one of the two Hasses. It's Stowe goes first with a 108.8. Very good lap from him, and Viper goes bottom with a 109.7. After that is Bluefoot with a 109.9, and then it's going to be Richie coming around the final corner now. It's close to the line, burning all that battery. It's a 10.2 for Richie, so definitely improvements to be made there. Fran through turn 13 now, gets as much of that curb again on the exit, try and ride the banking, and then to the line he goes. The Alpine driver is going to go P6 with a 109.7, close to his URC championship rival, the Viper. So we'll see as Rafa comes to the end of his sector. This is apparently his favourite track. Very, very quick driver on his day, so we should see him up in and around at least the second row. Comes to the line now, a 108.87, very close to Stowe, on to the front row for the time being, as the two McLarens come to start their lap. Johnsy Boy and ST will ride on board with Caden coming through the middle sector now. Caden has been very unfortunate so far this season. He's had some very, very good qualifying records, but still yet to finish a race. So he's looking to get back to where he was previously in league racing and hopefully get some points today. 5 DNFs from his first 6 races 4 DNFs from his first 5 races, I should say, as he comes around the final corner now. He'd look to try and get as close to the front row as possible. Caden goes second fastest with a 1:09 flat, so decent lap from him. Special One starting his lap, and Johnsy Boy coming to the end of his now. Start to see some drivers will be getting ready to head out on their second runs. I think Quiet Boy, he'll be making moves down in the pit lane soon. Johnsy Boy goes 9th with a 1:09.9, and ST is going to follow him through and goes 6th with a 1:09.5. Good lap from him. Also going close to his old championship rival of Quiet Boy. Both of them now both really close in the championship again as well, separated by just 8 points. So if we were to see this league get back going again, there should be a very good battle between these guys, as I think that's Viper who went quicker. I missed him. We're riding on board with Hyper, currently finishing his first sector with a 24.1. I think Special One is going to come to the end of his sector. Oh, big snap of oversteer out of turn 13, and now flat to the floor, to the line. Special One crosses the line, a 1:10.4, goes 13th fastest as Hyper spins the car out of turn 9 there. That's very unfortunate for him. Probably just clipped that grass on the exit of 9. Spun him round. Still yet to set a lap, Hyper. We'll see if he's going to recharge enough to go again. Viper, who improved on his time of a 1:09.7 to a 1:09.3, not pushing at the moment. It's Quiet Boy back out on his second run. So Hyper, I think, done 2 runs on those tyres, and now is finally back into the pits. Bluefoot must have disconnected. He's back into the lobby. We'll see now if anyone else is looking to try and get into the lobby. I think Yari will want an invite to get in. So Hyper has received a penalty for a collision with his own teammate there, which obviously will not count towards the race. We'll see, that might be investigated after the race. Quiet Boy up on his time, only ever so slightly though, now going in. Unless he has a lot of time in this final sector, I think he is going to remain 6th fastest and just improve on his gap to ST. But what kind of time does he have in the final sector? Has he burned too much battery on that opening run? He gets to the line now and does improve by a good bit, 2.5 tenths, to go onto the second row. P4, really good lap from Quiet Boy and ahead of Leopold currently. So Quiet Boy really has stepped up the pace here recently. We watch, I think that's it's one of the Red Bulls. I think that's Shamrock. It's coming to the end of one of his laps. No, it's not. It's Bluefoot. No, he's not on a lap. So it's Richie, who is a tenth and a slight bit up as Bluefoot goes onto the grass there to get out of the way, which I'm sure Richie may be actually complaining slightly about. He's coming straight back into the pits, so he wasn't able to improve on that lap. Still currently P12. Fran Bernoulli also not improving, straight into the pit lane. ST ever so slightly up on his time. Viper starting his lap. Let's see what ST has in store for us as he heads down towards the end. He's a tenth and a small bit up as well, so does he have time in the final sector to improve and move to the front of the field? Needs a little bit more time just to at least get onto that third row, but he's invalidated there. He must have invalidated out of turn 12. I just missed it. So Viper, we're right on board with him. He will be the next one to cross the line to set a competitive lap time. DRS open now. I think he's abandoned his lap as well, so he's gonna go again. So it's gonna be the Mercedes. No, it's going to be, I think, Caden Conway, who also has backed out. So it's M Stowe all the way back here, or is it Johnsy Boy? It's Johnsy Boy. He's nearly 2/10 up on his time, currently in P10, so an improvement here. Could see him go up into the top 9, maybe top 8. We'll see now what kind of time he has in the middle sector, hoping that the Racing Bull of Caden gets out of the way, which he does. So he's 5/10 up on his time, so this could be a very impressive lap from Johnsy Boy. Could possibly go put him into the top 6 if he's a little bit more time in the final sector. Let's see. DRS open as he burns all that ERS to the line. A lot of snap of oversteer there isn't going to help his time, but he does improve by 4/10, and the McLarens lock out the 4th row currently on the grid. M Stowe, is he improving? He's 4/10 up on his time. He's going to absolutely smash provisional pole here as he heads to the line. A 108.4, a smashing lap from the current championship leader. And the question is anyone going to get in the way and stop him from taking home this championship? Leopold, 6/10 up on his time, goes at least to the 2nd row. So that's very, very impressive from the Kick Sauber driver, but still 10.5 off, 2/10.5 off the championship leader, who's nearly double the points tally of the rest. In all of his races, he's 100% podium record, and also I think he's 4 podiums and 4 wins in 5 races. Of course, didn't start in China and was P3 in Qatar, so that could have been even more points that day. But he's looking like he's going to win this race on track and run away with it. Rafa currently on a lap here at the moment. I think that's Caden coming to the end of his. He's 3/10 up, ends up 6/10 up, and maybe we do have a fight for pole on our hands, because Caden's gone 2nd fastest and only 18 thousandths of a second off M. Stowe. The Viper currently on a lap, not improving. I think that's M. Stowe is going to come into the pits and get ready for his final run. Leopold will be the same. So we have a Red Bull of, I think that's Bluefoot, who's 2/10 up on his time and has a possibility to move into the top 10 here. Heads around turn 13 on the throttle now. DRS open, riding the banking as he heads towards the line now. Bluefoot, what can he do? It's a 3/10 improvement up into the top 10. Good lap from Bluefoot so far, as he's looking to take home some valuable points for Red Bull. Fran Bernoulli, a 108.9, very good lap from him, takes Alpine into the top 5. Hyper not improving. I think that's the special one who is improving, a 10th up, still unable to get anywhere out of 14th. Jitter Archie, who ran away with the race in the rain on Monday night, struggling to get a competitive lap time on the board, it seems. He's only 15th with a 110.5. Shamrock starting what could be his final run. ST behind him. I don't think anyone else is on a run. Maybe Hyper is. I know Bluefoot's on an in-lap. Viper's pretty much matched his time there in the middle sector, and he has it all to gain now in the final sector to move closer to maybe the top 6 here. A big snap of oversteer out of turn 13 though, which was proving unlucky for some today, and he's abandoned that lap and he's brought into the pits. I think Fran's going to follow him, which means we will ride on board with Shamrock, who will be the next driver to set a lap here, as we see I think Haas are moving down in the pit lane. No, it's Racing Bulls moving down in the pit lane. I think it's going to be Caden Conway who will come out first to try and set pole position. Never mind, that was Richie. We'll watch Shamrock, who was struggling in practice around here. We'll see, does he have any more pace in that Red Bull car towards the line? Slight improvement, jumps over his teammate. Currently, and that's the end of Shamrock there. Straight into the turn one, out of the way of everyone. ST improved up to P6, so very good lap from him, and I think that could be qualifying finish for him. And I'm sure he'll be very happy with that. Quiet Boy, now on a lap. Oh, he's going to get a load of dirty air here from ST. Is he going to get out of the way, ST? Oh, I think he just about does. Quiet Boy will be asking questions, because he's down on his time here through the first sector. On what is his final run here. ST just got a time in to get ahead of him. See what he can do. Round turn 10, Quiet Boy goes. DRS now open. Towards the end of the middle sector. What time has he gained in that middle sector as Special 1 retires in the pit lane? He's still only matched his time, so this could be it for Quiet Boy. Does he have any more pace in this car through the final sector to maybe get ahead of his old championship rival ST? I think that's all he's racing for now is P6. What kind of improvement does he have? He doesn't improve, and the question is, I think he may have enough time to go around again, but we'll see. It will be close. It's not, he's retired, so that is it. That's qualifying over. Bluefoot starting his final run, but we're going to keep an eye on some of them that are going to be battling for pole here. Caden Conway is one of them. We'll keep an eye on him, because he's starting his final flying lap now, and a good bit down the road will be Stowe, so we'll have to wait a while until we find out, and we'll keep an eye on the drivers that are crossing the line. That's Leopold, I think, about to cross the line. There it is, to start his final flying run. It's been a good first sector, very clean so far from Caden as he goes through the high speed sections of 4, 5 and 6. He's a tenth up on his time, so it's game on here really at the end of qualifying, and a chance for Caden to get another pole position as he flicks the car through turn 8 now, and through 9 he goes, getting as close, trying not to get too much of that curb on the exit and spin it like Hyper did. He knows how to control a car. He's been doing it for a very long time. DRS open on the run down towards turn 11 now, and he's lost a lot of time in that middle sector. He's only a slight bit up, but that slight bit is still going to be enough for pole position if he can hook it all together in the final sector. Qualifying, the checker flag is waved. Bluefoot's going to come to the line first and improve ahead of Shamrock. After that will be Fran Bernoulli. Doesn't improve. Can Caden improve? Of course he does. He improves by a tenth of a second and moves up onto provisional pole. Not improving either. I think that's his qualifying over. Leopold purple in the final sector, but not enough. And Stowe currently not improving. He's pretty much matched his time in the first sector. Johnsy Boy retires from the session. Hyper is coming to the end of his final sector. Stowe is up on his time. He's gonna need a lot more in the final sector as he's onto the gravel there out of turn 12. It's not looking good for our championship leader to take pole position here in Zandvoort. His foot is to the floor now towards the line. DRS open. Can Stowe improve and take pole? He can't. He misses out by 7 thousandths of a second. Very, very competitive qualifying. But it's going to be Caden Conway who takes pole position here in Zandvoort. Fantastic lap, and I'm sure he will be very proud of that. Caden Conway, pole position here in Zandvoort. So here we are, everyone. Welcome back. We are ready to go here for the race. A very interesting qualifying we had. Very close. Only 0.07 of a second splitting pole and P2. The rest of the field not too far behind, all the way down to Fran Bernoulli. I think the battle for the top 10 will be all the way down towards Shamrock, from 6th all the way down to Shamrock, so that should be very interesting. All of them only split by 0.5 of a second, with the top 5 only split between 0.5 of a second. I think the special one, unfortunately, seems a good bit off the pace, but he's here just for the experience anyway for the time being, and is happy to be here as a reserve. Jitter Archie, unfortunately, with his internet, could not get a successful lap time in, which means he decided to drop out of the Grand Prix. Replacing him last minute in a different car, though, will be Jari, who will take 15th on the grid for Alpine, helping out his Tier 1 counterparts after his first podium of the season on Monday night. But we will not talk about Monday night or the grid anymore, and we'll let the racing get underway here. As here we go, it's 5 red lights for the Dutch Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go, and it's a great getaway by Leopold on the 3rd row as M. Stowe gets up and alongside Caden as they go side by side into turn 1. Caden trying to hang it around the outside. Up through turn 2 now. Caden still leads the Grand Prix. Leo got in a brilliant getaway, has unfortunately lost places to the Mercedes behind, but it's Caden from M. Stowe, from Rafa, then Leo, then Hyper making up places, as I think Franz dropped back a good few places. That's, I think, Quiet Boy, Viper, ST, then Fran, Johnsy Boy, then Jari making up great gains with the special one, the 2 Red Bulls, and Richie making up the back of the pack here. But it's been a great getaway from Caden, who leads this race, and it's Rafa who may not have got the best start compared to Leo, who looked like if he had a little bit of a longer run he might have had a chance to get a run at M. Stowe and Caden, but fast reactions don't mean everything here, and into turn 1 he lost out at the place as Special One having trouble here. Lots of movement going on in the back here. Richie and Bluefoot managing to defend on well there as we watch them go through the banking, and it's looking like M. Stowe lining up one here on Caden, down into turn 1, down the inside again. Caden breaking later, hanging around the outside again. He's going to get a much better run, and he will easily keep the place. Bluefoot getting by Richie, these two having a little bit of a scrap here. Bluefoot managing to stay ahead, but losing a bit of time to Jari, who's ahead of him now. We watch Rafa getting very, very close here to M. Stowe. Maybe trying to put him under a little bit of pressure already. Derailing slightly, everyone having similar enough battery. Caden not burning as much, had to burn a little bit, I'm assuming, into turn 1, but he looks very comfortable out the front there as we watch the drivers battling behind. Bluefoot, I think he has damage. He has an end plate missing on the left hand side. That's going to be crucial to his race. Shamrock getting by, I think Special One got on the curb there. He also has damage. Shamrock's missing both end plates. And Richie has a full front wing, and he's just struggling to get by them all, which is showing how he's kind of fallen off this season, which is unfortunate because he had such a good year last year. But it's Shamrock and Special One battling here at the back. Shamrock with a broken front wing. Oh, and we see Special One get on the curb as well there. Richie getting by Bluefoot there for P12. Bluefoot switching back to the inside, and I think that was a very, very late move from Bluefoot to try and get back by him. Hopefully gets out of the way. He's ghosted anyway. Gets out of the way of Special One, but I think he was trying his luck there, Bluefoot. It wasn't going to pay off. Leopold right on the back of Rafa here, out front. So we watch these battle on the run now through turn 8 and into 9 now. But it's Caden who comfortably leads here. It's been a great getaway from Hyper, who I suppose he's only gained 1 place. Of course, we can talk about the likes of Quiet Boy and Jari, who's gained a lot of positions off the start, but he's got away, and he's also gotten right involved in this battle in the top 5, which wasn't expected. That was expected to be Fran, who had obviously a poor getaway and has dragged himself into the battle with Viper, Quiet Boy, and Johnsy Boy and all that at the back there now instead. Hyper really showing his race pace is good. But here's ST lining up a move here on Caden and getting the move done. And he's up into the lead of this race here on lap 4. Bit like Lando Norris on Max Verstappen there. Just seems like maybe the faster driver and the faster, well, I suppose that was the faster car in real life, but in this scenario it's the faster driver getting by just in time here when it comes to racing, as Bluefoot retires in the pit lane, and that's going to be an early training session for him to get ready for Pro Clubs tonight. And I'm sure I think his Red Bull teammate may join him soon enough, but Shamrock going to stay on for a little bit longer, helping out, doing me a favour, which I greatly appreciate with adding the extra drivers. See now, Caden gaining on M Stowe here. Shamrock has spin and hit the wall. So he's obviously had an error there at turn 2, and the safety car is out. Both Red Bulls crashing out of the race. And an early safety car. So early pit stops for M Stowe and Caden. So Leopold decided to stay out. His teammate Hyper and Rafa have done the alternate strategy. So M Stowe has a bit of work to do now, getting by these drivers here on the hards. I think Leopold started on the hards. He didn't want to go through the tyre warm up on the medium. Quiet Boy, Johnsy Boy, ST, both McLarens doing very well for themselves, and I think are doing quite well for themselves in the constructors. They've really fought their way back, really struggled in the opening rounds of the season, but since then back-to-back podiums for the team, both coming from ST. No, sorry, one from I think that was Owen Curry, or maybe it was Tom Eade, and then ST picking up his first podium has put them level on points with Ferrari, who of course currently are scoring none. So they could bring home third in the championship, which would be massive for McLaren, who are struggling in the FA2 championship, and also didn't really have the best of years last year under Shano, and I think it was FaZe Monkey come the end of that. But it's Haas who are leading by a good bit. 163. Kick Sauber will probably start to close. Of course, Viper's been such a good addition to Haas, so we should have a real championship battle going on. Viper also came into the pit lane there. We just wait for Special One to catch up. We'll have one more lap and then we'll get going again. But M Stowe currently leading the championship by, we can do it now, 48 points, and he has a bit of work to do to get back up into first place now. Right, the safety car is in this lap, and Leopold is going to lead the way here. He needs a big round today, a win, and hoping M Stowe really falls off. If that's the case, it would be it would bring the gap down to 23 points with 4 rounds to go. So he needs some really good driving skills to take home at least a win and reduce the gap down to 41. Of course, it's not in his hands anymore. If he wins every race and M Stowe finishes second, Stowe still wins the championship, so it is going to have to be a mega comeback, as Stowe getting close to double Leopold's points, and I think if he wins the race today, he will double Leopold's points, depending on where Leopold finishes. But we'll see now, as he waits as long as he can to cause probably as much carnage as he can, but also nothing illegal. He gets underway. Quiet Boy follows. Both McLarens, I think, are going to battle side by side here. Lots of battles going on at the back. Jari currently in P5 trying to defend off Richie. And Richie and Jari both go wide, and Caden Conway, who overtook Stowe, goes through. Stowe goes through as well, so 2 overtakes done in only 1 corner. Rafa also follows them through. So the provisional top 3 making a brilliant move, getting by Richie and Jari, who were scrapping into 1 and have lost places because of it. So it's a great getaway from Caden, Stowe and Rafa, getting by those 2 early. Caden now sets his sights on the McLarens ahead. He's on a fresher hard, looking to try and get by ST here at the moment. ST forcing him wide, which has allowed Stowe maybe to get round down the inside. They're both side by side. Caden should have a better run down towards turn 11 here, and he does. He manages to fend off Stowe, but he can't get by ST as of yet. This is where Leopold needs to try and break away as much as he can, as that poxy Sector 1 is now going to be stuck on the screen for the rest of the race. But Caden right on the back here now of ST. He's going to get the move done here. He's going to move up into P4. Is Stowe going to be able to follow through? We'll see. He's not going to dive down the inside, or is he? I think both of them have left the gap. But look who's alongside. It's Rafa. Rafa trying to make a move. Little bit of contact between him and the Haas. Stowe thinks better of it. He defends. But look who's on his rear end now. It is Hyper, right on the back of the Haas driver, and he's going to try and do a favour for his teammate and try and hold him up. But Rafa already doing God's work for Leo in getting by Stowe and delaying his attack that he has to do to get by again. I think Leo has to get as far away as possible. Fran Bernoulli got on the curb there, and he's got damage already. He's kind of faded away there as well, so that's unfortunate for him. Leopold already 2 seconds ahead, and on those hards is going to try and extend them as long as he can now, and maybe hope for another safety car. If not, he's probably going to be on the better strategy in terms of tyre wear come the end of the race anyway, by not altering his pit strategy. So we'll see how that plans out later on. Richie right on the back of Jari here as Caden Conway gets by Johnsy Boy. I think that was a safe enough overtake. Richie looking to get by Jari, unable to, remains in P11. Rafa still looking to try and get by the McLaren of ST, who's making his car very, very wide. Stowe looking to try and get back down the inside, unable to. Rafa, is he going to go for anything bold in this part of the track? It's not looking likely. Still just tucking in alongside the McLaren for the moment. Here he is trying to go down the inside into turn 10 there, and Hyper looking to get by Stowe here. They're side by side. Look at the wheel banging going on down this straight. Hyper has the outside line, and he's got by Stowe as well. So that's a big move for the Kick Sauber, who's got by the championship leader and is now going to try and hold him up as much as he can. Caden Conway, DRS open on Quiet Boy. This will be the easiest move yet, because the driver ahead doesn't even have DRS. So Stowe has made hard work of getting through the field. It's safe to say that Caden hasn't, and he's going to start to chase down the rest. And ST lost a load of places there on that straight. His straight line speed just isn't at it today. It seems he was able to defend for a while, but not that long. He's defended enough to let his teammate get at least a second ahead of Rafa though for the time being. Hyper and Stowe did follow through. So there will be a lot of pressure switched to the next McLaren of Johnsy Boy, who also decided to stay out on the hard tyre. Quiet Boy just ahead of him, and then it's Caden, who's already closed nearly a second. And that's a problem for Stowe. He's got on the curb, I think, and he's gone off into the grass, so he's back behind ST and his teammates. So this race is going all wrong for the championship leader so far in pitting into traffic. He hasn't made best use of the fresher, harder tyres, and he's just not at it at all today in terms of racing other drivers, other than when he got by Caden into turn 1. So lots of work to do for M. Stowe to bring home his second consecutive race win. Rafa getting by Johnsy Boy, but goes a little bit wide, allowing Johnsy Boy maybe to get back by Rafa. Just too much grip on the exit. Is up into P4 and now sets his sights on Quiet Boy, which after that is setting sight on a bit of clean air all the way to Caden and Leo leading the field. Interesting to see if Hyper can get by Johnsy Boy and take home as many points as he can for Kick Sauber, who are probably focusing now with where Haas are on gaining as much points as they can in the constructors. Hyper, who was on the alternate strategy, could see himself well into the top 5 this race, and depending on how well it goes for Leo, he could see himself battling for potentially a race win, depending on how strategies play out later in the race. Whether he's going for the one stop or not, we'll have to wait and see. Caden 1 second to the car ahead, still going to be a good bit away here for the time being. Hyper right on the back of Johnsy Boy. Johnsy Boy looking to try and force him. Hyper switches to the outside. Normally the better run. I think he's left himself slightly vulnerable to M. Stowe, and he's clipped almost. Johnsy Boy is not able to get by for the time being, but he is holding up M. Stowe here at the moment, at least for the moment, as Rafa got by Quiet Boy there. I missed that. He's up in the P3. I'm sure it was just a straightforward DRS overtake anyway. We'll see if Hyper can get by the McLaren of Johnsy Boy as soon as he can. As Hyper struggling, gets tagged by M. Stowe and he's off into the grass. That's a big incident and Hyper won't be happy. M. Stowe, has he picked up any sort of damage from that? He looks like he hasn't. He's gotten fortunate, but it's going to be an incident that I'm sure will be looked at after the race. And is that going to play on the back of M. Stowe's mind as he still tries to get by Johnsy Boy and Quiet Boy and get back into this race for the top 2, as the front of the field are battling here, and Caden gets by Leopold into turn 1. Leo trying to stick with him, but probably better off. He decides to stay away from Caden, let Caden run away on those fresher, harder tyres, and he can just sit happily there on his hards at the moment. Let them go as much as he can. If Caden is able to keep the car on track, and I know it's quite an insult, but it's just the truth at the end of the day, if he's able to keep it together, he should be able to run away with this race and finally put some serious points on the board for Racing Bulls. Of course, if we want to talk about the constructors, they've only scored 16 points this season. That's a P10 finish in Qatar for Tamid and a P7 finish in Abu Dhabi. I think that was FaZe Monkey reserving. So a win today would be massive for the team and possibly lift them all the way into 6th, ahead of Red Bull and ahead of Mercedes, depending on how Rafa does in the Mercedes. Leopold getting right back on Caden though, so maybe there is a little bit of second wind to these tyres. Caden defends well on the inside, keeps the lead of the race. Yari gets by ST and Richie, who are finally into the pits. Richie picking up 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. That's going to be really frustrating for him. Yari staying out, currently in P8. Hyper, I think, also came into the pit lane there. Oh no, sorry, he spun. I forgot about that. Stowe did get by Johnsy Boy, and he's now right on the back of Quiet Boy. So still lots of battles going on track, and still a very interesting race in comparison to last week, which is good to see. We've Australia up next, which should be even better. As M. Stowe, DRS open now on Quiet Boy. and he'll get another run again. Rafa has been unable to break ahead of Quiet Boy, which is crucially going to allow Quiet Boy to have a bit of DRS here to defend from M. Stowe, but I think M. Stowe is just going to be too quick. Leopold 15 laps on those hard tyres. He's into the pit lane himself, and M. Stowe gets by Quiet Boy and puts himself into what is P3 in the race. Not a net P3, this is P3 on track. Rafa and Caden both pitted the same lap as M. Stowe and are both kind of cruising away here at the moment. I wouldn't say Rafa is, but Caden definitely is. He's nearly 5 seconds ahead of the field. We'll see now what he can do before these drivers, of course, have to pit again. In terms of tyres, all the front three on 10 laps. Quiet Boy doing a mega stint on those mediums, 14 laps, and still managing to keep pace in P4. Viper and Hyper unable to get by. Of course, I think Hyper did get by and then was unable to get by afterwards. After the spin, Yari also doing a very good shift at the moment on his tyres. It's Leopold, Johnsy Boy, ST, Richie, all on hards as Fran picks up a 3-second time penalty. And Hyper, or Quiet Boy I should say, is finally coming into the pits. And I think that will be followed by Yari, as I think I've missed another overtake. I have. M. Stowe got by Rafa and he's up in the P2. So what looked like it could have been a difficult race for M. Stowe, and with collisions and losing places, he's managed to fight his way all the way back into what is now P2 on track. Has a lot of work to do. Fran Bernoulli having trouble there going through turn 14, and with how far behind he is, I think he is on the way into the pits to retire and get ready for his Pro Club session. Have I predicted that correctly? I'll have to wait and see. Maybe he is staying in the race, I'm not too sure. But there's a battle here going on between Leopold and Yari. Yari defending Leopold here and giving Leo an awful time. Eventually now gets out of the way. I don't think Leo will be too happy at all. Next is his teammate. A lot of work to do, but on those mediums he should be the quickest driver on track. In terms of the quickest driver on track, Caden still setting the fastest lap of 1:11.7. Leopold should be able to go quicker now in the little bit of clean air that he's in, as the battles on track seem to have died down. Yari into the pits to get on his set of medium tyres and look to try and battle his way back into the top 10. Could be in trouble though, because there's a raging Ferrari coming behind at a lot of pace here, and he is going to get by him and up into P11, or maybe not. Yari gets up just ahead, so he's got that spot on. Yari, he has now 8 seconds of clean air to keep his car going. Very good from Yari. Just the perfect time to come into the pits there and extend that hard tyre as long as he could. Rafa coming at M. Stowe here again. These two been battling since M. Stowe first got back by. Yeah, and Rafa looking to try and get by again. There's a battle, and M. Stowe nearly spun round. He managed to save the car. He won't be happy with that at all. He's lost a lot of time to Caden and has lost a lot of time now to the two Kick Saubers behind. So that is going to be something he'll be very frustrated on. Has to catch up to Rafa again. Maybe he will be looking at trying to report that later in the race. Caden, currently not reporting anyone, has no problems at all. Fran Bernoulli's gone round again and has now been lapped by Caden Conway, and is going to be lapped by the cars behind as well. So currently all those drivers that came in for that early pit stop They'll be ready to make their second pit stop of the race very, very soon. It's whether or not they can get another medium to the end. M. Stow's in. 13 laps was all he could do on those tyres. A stint to forget for the Swedish driver. Couldn't get any weak. Well, he could get some pace, but he couldn't really just enjoy that stint whatsoever. He's on a hard to the end now. That's going to be a very, very long stint. It will be very, very difficult to see if he can get that to the end. But we'll see. He comes out in P8. A lot of work to do. We'll see what he can do. Jonesy Boy and Quiet Boy have still kept quite close with their gap. Currently fighting for what is now P6, normally is 7 and 8. But both of them fairly close to each other. ST in a comfortable P9. So McLaren are going to take home some nice points today. It's going to surprisingly be, since Monza, the first time the two of them will bring home points at the same race. So it's always been one who's either missing or DNF. Sorry, they were both brought home points in China, but Jonesy Boy wasn't racing, of course, that day. Therefore he didn't. As Caden has picked up 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. That's greatly affected his race there. He's onto a medium. Now I don't think that's going to get to the end whatsoever. He is possibly on a 3 stop unless he can get these tyres to the end. And of course, 10-second time penalty to serve as well. He gets out ahead of Hyper and is going to be chasing down Leo. So is that Caden's chances of a race win maybe not gone, but very, very more difficult now with that 10-second time penalty. Leopold, who has already done 5 laps on those mediums, starting to feel the wear of them as he's really struggling to kind of catch up to Viper here. He is catching up, but only just barely on these mediums that are already kind of starting to fade away after lap 6. So I'm sure he probably has another hard to go till the end, which he will put on maybe in the next 2 or 3 laps. But Caden definitely on a 3 stop, because mediums aren't going to get 16 laps. Hards barely got 16 laps, which is why I think M. Stowe will get his to the end, as there is a mighty scrap here to get into P5, and M. Stowe getting by Hyper. And I wonder if there's any love lost between these two after the incident down at turn 9. M. Stowe getting by Hyper, and with DRS is also going to get by Jonesy Boy. Is Hyper going to be able to follow him through? No. M. Stowe on the faster, harder tyre is up in the P4 and chasing down Quiet Boy to get back onto a provisional podium. Hyper and Rafa battling it out, but Rafa, of course, on the soft tyre does not want to be held up. This is definitely just an inter tyre, you could say, not intermediate, but just a tyre in between 2 stints to get him the distance. I'm sure a medium or a hard will go back on Rafa's car in about 3 or 4 laps time. We'll have to wait and see. Lots of contact between these two. I think there may be a bit of desync because Rafa just completely turned in on Hyper there, who was completely on the inside. So maybe in terms of internet connection there may be trouble. Either that, or it's just very hard and aggressive racing here, like George Russell and Leclerc had in Zandvoort, especially down into that brilliant move down at turn 12. But Rafa now on the fresh soft, DRS now open. He should be able to get by Hyper, as Fran Bernoulli has picked up a 10-second time penalty. He's picked up 2 for corner cutting. I think that's his race over. Rafa gets by Hyper and he's up in the P6. Hyper, I think, still on those hards. Yep, 17 lap old hards. So he's still kind of seeing it out, and I think he's going to have one more pit stop later in this race. So he is probably battling for around this position right now, P7. Hyper, or Quiet Boy I should say, is in a very good position because he's just going to go now on these tyres probably till about lap 27, 28, then get onto a medium till the end. So as long as he can hold up M. Stowe, the longer both of them are going to have to, well, not M. Stowe, but the likes of Jonesy Boy and Rafa behind, all going to have to come into the pits. He's looking at a potential P4 finish, and that would be very, very good for Quiet Boy if he can get that done. But he's going to have to try and stay ahead of them as much as he can, and I think in doing that he'll have to let Stowe through in the next few laps. Caden on that fresh medium. Leo's doing a brilliant job, I should say. I was going to say awful, an awfully great job, I should say, on that medium tyre. 8 laps so far, keeping up with Caden, not letting him by too easily. Stowe gets by Quiet Boy there into turn 1, as it looks like Rafa has also got by Johnsy Boy on that soft tyre, but look at the snap of oversteer there. That soft, already starting to struggle here. Currently in P5. So Caden right on the back of Leo here. And Leo trying to defend. He's going to take an inside line. Caden's going to switch back him on the banking. And that is a fabulous move. I think Hyper has lost a car. But that is a fabulous move there by Caden, who got the move done before the DRS straight even happened. And he's up in to P1 yet again. But of course has that penalty, which is really going to affect him, as well as another pit stop to be made. Whether I think he might have another set of mediums to go back onto, unless he's going to stretch this medium and go a soft for the final 6 lap. Rafa already done 4 laps on those softs, but already they have completely died out on him. So we'll see how long these mediums take him. Can he come back into the pits? Of course, Leopold is due another pit stop. Stowe isn't. So has his time Fran Bernoulli. Yep, so Leopold's into the pits. Stowe does not need to take another pit stop. He's only 6 laps on those tyres. They'll go another 11. He will, what looks like, easily win this race. Of course, Caden probably will come back into the pits because he won't get those mediums to the end. He'll be on a soft, and he'll also have to serve that 10-second penalty in the pit lane. So we'll see what the likes of Caden can do when he does come into the pits. If he comes into the pits, you wouldn't want to make the same mistake he made in Baku, where leading the race his tyres just completely fell off, because they already are starting to fall off. Stowe ever so slightly gaining a bit of time on him. Leopold's come out good bit ahead of his teammate Hyper, and it's just ST has just got out of the way and let him by. I think ST knows his race is for P8, and he is going to take that and drive that car home till the end, although maybe not. I don't think I know why he slowed down there, because he has to go and extend those hards a little bit longer, get onto a medium to the end. Maybe it's P9 for him, is what it seems like. Yari's going to take home some good points for Alpine here, or a good point I should say. They need some points because their current full-time driver struggling out there at the moment. But Leopold making as much moves as he can. Viper's into the pit lane now. He's on that hard tyre. Very good stint from him. That was only 5 laps. Oh, he's retired. So that was surprising. I think he maybe picked up a little bit of damage and he's gone from the session. So that's going to allow Ricky to take home his first points of the season. He'll be very happy with that. I don't know whether that's a personal issue or if it's just the damage. But Stowe won't be happy, because that's allowed Kick Sauber really to get back into this fight for the constructors, because Leopold on this fresh hard now, pushing to the end, should bring home P3 minimum, depending on where Caden comes out of the pit lane. It could be P2, it could be P1, depending on how much Stowe's tyres fall off. He has to go 10 more laps and he's already done 7. So a lot of work to be done for M. Stowe because of that early pit stop at the start of the race. But of course he had the 2 hard tyres to go. We'll see if he's going to be able to see them out to the end. Caden probably going to be driving as quick as he can. That penalty really has affected him, because I think if he came in for the softs he would be able to push and overtake and get that race win. But the 10 seconds that's going to hold him up in the pit lane, like, I'm sure he'd wish he wouldn't serve it, but of course he has to serve it anyway, because I don't think it's a stone wall penalty. It's speeding in the pit lane. I can't really take them away. Hyper gets by ST, who came into the pit lane. Is ST going to get out ahead of... Oh, sorry, that's Fran, not Yari. Fran setting the fastest lap with a 1:10.6 there. ST coming out onto a fresh medium, and he will be pushing that tyre right to the end. So P8, it looks like it will be for ST, and his teammate may take home, I think it's going to be P6 for Johnsy Boy. Well, it'll be a stretch for him to get that. I don't think he will get that tyre to the end, so he'll have to pit again, probably come out just ahead of his teammate. We'll have to wait and see. Leo makes easy work of that, up into P5, chasing the rest of the field. 8 laps to go now. Caden has just started lap 28, currently on a 8 lap old hard, needing to go another 8. We'll see how much longer he's able to take it. What kind of tyres does Caden have left? As Fran picks up another time penalty, he's going to end up getting himself disqualified, as he still hasn't overtaken the 42 seconds of penalties for Fran. He still hasn't overtaken the retired Viper. I think he will just now. He does. Up into P12 now for Fran, who probably will not pick up any points, because if someone retires on the last lap, he's 2 laps down, he won't get a chance to. Richie is into the pits, so maybe he won't get his first points of the season. He's in because he's got damage to his front wing. He's got that change, he's onto a soft, and he's a lot of work to do to try and chase down Special 1 in P10 to take home his first points for the team. Caden into the pits to serve this penalty, and it's a soft. It is a soft going on. Rafa done 9 laps on those softs, so that's not bad at all. Caden still in the pit lane. It feels like an eternity. Is he going to get out ahead of Rafa? I don't think he is. Yeah, Rafa's gone by. Caden in a P5. Rafa back out on another, this time a fresh medium, I think it is for Rafa. Caden on a fresh soft. Hyper gonna go round the outside of Rafa, and he's into P4. That's a massive move for Hyper to get himself up ahead of Rafa, ahead of Caden, and try and hold these up for as long as he can now on his fresh enough medium tyre and get that to the end. Leopold chasing down Quiet Boy, who's on a 13 lap old hard. He'll really struggle now if he's going to try and get that to the end, but if he gets it to the end, then fair play to him. Stowe currently leading the race, but losing time to Leopold, gaining time on Quiet Boy. 6 laps to go, 8 seconds is the gap. A lot of work to do. Quiet Boy isn't going to get that to the end. He's into the pits, but I think he's going to come out in P3, because he's going to come in. There's no replacement needed. Straight onto a set of mediums. They're still coming around the final corner. The pit limiter deactivated on a fresh medium into turn 1. Rafa takes P4. Caden gets by Hyper up into P5. Quiet Boy stays in P3, but he's going to have a real difficult job of trying to stay there. Maybe not necessarily from Rafa, but Caden behind on a fresh soft is going to be really, really hard to beat. So what tyre has Fran decided to go on to this time? We'll see now as he stopped stationary. It's probably going to be an intermediate, I'm assuming. Maybe, I don't know, something special. Now another fresh soft. Lovely to see Fran. Leopold, the gap is 6 seconds. It was 8 seconds at the start of the lap. So the time is coming down. This is a battle we are waiting to see all season, and it is going to be a tasty one if it does come down in the final few laps. Caden trying to get by Rafa as soon as he can on his fresh soft before they fall off. Caden will not have a chance of winning this race. He's well too far behind. It's going to be what seems to be maybe a podium at best after he gets by Rafa here into turn 1. Comfortable move from Caden, and now he has 2 seconds up the road to Quiet Boy, and then that is race over. Fran Bernoulli spinning again as always. He's probably about 50 laps down at this stage now, because he's a lap down already on Richie, who's in 11th, and who is also a lap down, I think, on M. Stowe. Not as much time gained this lap from Leo. Is his herd starting to fall off a bit? They shouldn't. I think M. Stowe's are going to hit a cliff now in the next 2 laps, when he originally pitted on lap 13, and that's when Leo should have such a big tyre advantage. It's nearly half the tyre length of M. Stowe's. It is half the tyre length of M. Stowe's. Tyre life, I should say. So we will see now 5 seconds and 5 laps to do it. Caden still only 2 seconds behind Quiet Boy, who has plenty of pace out there on the Williams. In the Williams car. Rafa looking to try and get by around the outside. He may try and stick with it here. Goes round the outside, unable to, maybe sneaks a wheel down the inside. Look at this for battling between Caden and Rafa. Some brilliant racing put on display here. Still side by side through the opening sector of the racetrack. This is brilliant from them as we watch them go through 4, 5 and 6 into turn 7 now, and Rafa gets the move done into P4. What a move. What great racing we have between the two of them, who are trying to catch up to Quiet Boy, but Quiet Boy is no mug. He is there for a reason. He has had an excellent race despite a quite unconventional qualifying, starting him in P9. He is now up to P3, and Caden's penalty, which would put him currently 2 seconds off Leopold on a fresh soft, has really not helped his case whatsoever. 4 seconds is the gap out in front as we continue to watch this battle between the Racing Bull and the Mercedes, who are only losing time to Quiet Boy ahead. So it's looking like Quiet Boy, who no one expected this year as a Tier 2 driver at the start of last year, winning the Tier 2 championship. He is now currently on for his 3rd podium of the season and move himself up into P3 in the championship. So that's going to be very impressive after a driver who wasn't expected to be fighting for any podiums this season, just fighting for points. With all the drivers coming in, he has shown that he can be as quick as he wants to be. Caden and Rafa battling it out to try and get as close to Quiet Boy as they can, but struggling to. So with 3 laps to go, M. Stowe gets us started. It's 3 seconds the gap. I think the time is just going to run out for Leopold. That's Fran on the gravel there, and hopefully doesn't slow down Leopold too much here. He gets out of the way. How much does M. Stowe have left in those tyres? Rafa getting back by Caden again to get up into P4. Hyper and Johnsy Boy fighting it out here for P6. McLaren's looking to bring home as much points as possible. Hyper battling for the constructors. He's forced Johnsy Boy onto the grass there, or onto the gravel I should say, and he's managed to keep the position in P6. But a dogfight going on back here between the Kick Sauber and the McLaren, as well as the 2 drivers ahead of both of them, Caden and Rafa, battling it out for P4 and for what will be their best finish in or their joint, Caden's best finish, as long as he finishes this race, and some good points for Rafa, taking him up to P7 in the drivers' standings, and some good points for Mercedes as well, who need it. 2 laps to go now. 2.5 the gap. I think time is running out for Leo. It's just about how much does those tyres fall away or not. Fran Bernoulli, plenty of donuts on display here. He thinks it's the final race of the season. It's been an absolute joke of a display, as we got a great view there though of Caden's overtake on Rafa to get back up into P4. These two are going to battle right to the end, which is just helping Quiet Boy even more. Johnsy Boy and Rafa and Hyper battling it out, and I think they're going to have to concede the position there because of Fran's yellow flags acts that he's doing down at turn 1. Johnsy Boy gets by up into P6. They still battle here for P6 and 7. And Rafa and Caden battling for P4 and 5. Fran has spun again. He's on lap 32, by the way. So we watch as M. Stowe starts the final lap of the race. It's looking like it's just too much of a gap for Leopold to close. He has raced brilliantly from the start. Fran's gone round again. 1 second is the gap. If the tyres have fallen off all that much, does he have one last chance to get it done into turn 12? We'll see now as they go through the lapped Richie, who was unable to get his first points of the season. As they go through turn 7 now, the gap is still 1 second. The DRS detection zone coming up soon. Leo, 0.8 of a second. I think it's just going to be a lap too late for Leopold. We'll see now what kind of run he has on this final straight here. Leo gaining on the Haas driver. He needs to try and make a move. He's not going to be able to, but they're going to be really, really close when it comes over the line. We'll have to see. M. Stowe led the race on lap 4, and since then his strategy has just been better than Leo's. But is it good enough? The checkered flag comes in the nick of time for the Haas driver as M. Stowe wins the Dutch Grand Prix, and Leo, with only a 1/10.5 behind, finishes in second. Quiet Boy, another podium in Williams for him, and it is going to be Rafa to finish ahead of Caden with a very good spin over the line. Johnsy Boy got ahead of Hyper, but with his penalty is only going to settle for, I think it is P8. ST finishes in 7th. Yari's going to take home 2 points for Alpine, doing a great job reserving today. And then on debut in Tier 1, it is going to be Special 1 taking home some points for Ferrari and their constructors battle with McLaren. They have dropped behind McLaren after today's results, but a little bit of consolation with Special 1's points. And of course, we're not gonna forget about Fran, who's probably gonna show us some donuts here to see off his absolutely abysmal race, just like his abysmal Rocket League skills. And we can't wait to tune in to his abysmal Pro Club skills after this. But it is all over here. It's M. Stowe who wins here in Zandvoort. So we will run through the grid one more time just after the podium celebrations here. Probably the best three drivers of the season, and it is what looks like that's going to be the driver standings come the end of the season. It is M. Stowe who wins, from Leopold in second, and Quiet Boy in third, who has definitely been the most surprising driver of the season. We didn't expect him, like I said, to be this high up, even after being the champion last year, and he has put up maybe not a heck of a championship fight, but he's put up a heck of a fight with the front of the field and taking home podiums that he really shouldn't be taking home. But it's M. Stowe who wins for the 5th time this season. It's been absolute dominance, and I've enjoyed it all because it hasn't been a boring race today. Leopold gained, but the checkered flag just came too quick for him. He finishes P2 with Quiet Boy in P3. Rafa gets ahead of Caden in that battle for P4. Caden in 5th. Hyper gets ahead of Johnsy Boy with his battle because of that 3-second penalty. ST in 6th. ST in 7th. Johnsy Boy in 8th. Yari 9th. Special 110. Richie, Fran, Viper, Shamrock and Bluefoot. Are we going to get all these done? I think we may. I think we did just about get enough. I've been Gaffo. This has been the Dutch Grand Prix. It was a special one, to say the least. We'll see you next week in Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix, and a chance for M. Stowe to possibly secure his... well, not secure. I think he can't do that until Singapore at the minimum anyway, but a chance to nearly secure his first ever Formula Aero Championship. I've been Gaffo, and this has been Formula Aero. We'll see you next week. Good night and God bless.